Good afternoon, class. I hope you are getting through with your homework, but if you do have questions, this will be a great video to watch and help you kind of understand it better. Today in class, we went over how to multiply fractions and whole numbers using a tape diagram. Yesterday, we made a model, we drew an array. Today, we're making a tape diagram. So I'm going to do, let me focus that for you guys. I'm going to do A and C and the number 2A on the back. Let's start with A. A says 1/4 of 24. What I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with my tape diagram. Start with your rectangle. And this represents the whole amount, 24. The 4 in the denominator tells me that I'm going to have 4 units. And what I'm thinking in my head is, if I have 4 equal units and I have 24 total, what problem am I going to solve to tell me how many is in each unit? Well, I'm going to be thinking 24 divided by 4 equals 6. So each unit would be 6. So 1/4 of 24 would be 6. Okay, let's look at letter C. Now letter C looks a little bit different because it's got the multiplication sign, but it is actually the same thing. Instead of writing the word of, we put a multiplication sign. So we're still going to read it as 2/3 of 18. I'm going to start with my rectangle, and I'm going to label my whole. The total is 18. My denominator says that I'm going to be cutting it into 3 parts. And I'm going to be thinking, if I have 18 and I divide it into 3, that would give me 6. But it says 2/3. So I not only want to know 1/3, I want to know 2/3, which would be 12. I'm going to do letter L because you're supposed to do letter K. So let me demonstrate letter L. It says 2/5 of a number is 14. What's the number? Again, I'm going to start with my rectangle to start my tape diagram. I don't know what the whole is because it says a number. We don't know what that number is. So I'm going to put a question mark there. I know that my denominator is 5, so I'm going to be cutting it into 5 units. And I know I'm looking for, I know that 2 of the 5 is equal to 14. Well, if I have 2 of the 5 equal to 14, and these are equal units because fifths are equal, I know that these have to be 7. Well, if I know that each unit is 7, to find the total, I fill in the rest of my units, and I'm thinking in my head, 7 times 5 equals 35. So what is the number? 35. Okay, and I'll say that again because it was out of focus, or out of the frame. So I started off with 2/3 of some number equals 14. So I know that these two have to equal 14. So what I thought is 14 divided by 2 equals 7. So each one of these is 7. Well, each one is equal, so I fill in 7s across the board. I think 7 times 5 equals 35, so my number equals 35. Okay? Alright, I'm going to do number 2 on the back. Zoom that back out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. A little bit more. There we go. Alright, let me autofocus that and we'll get started. There we go. It says a skating rink sold 66 tickets. Of these, 2/3 were children's tickets and the rest were adult tickets. What total number of adult tickets were sold? So I'm going to solve using a tape diagram. So I start with my rectangle? Do I know my whole? Do I know my total number of tickets sold? Yes, it's 66. So this whole thing represents 66. Well, how many units am I dividing it up into? Well, my denominator says 3. So I'm going to divide this into thirds. It says 2 of these were children's tickets, and 1 of these was adult tickets. How do I know that 1 is? Because it says the rest, and that means 1/3. So, what am I going to think? Well, how am I going to find 1 unit? Well, I know I have 66 total, so what I should be thinking is 66 divided by 3 equals 22. So each one of these is 22. So what problem or equation would I write? Like the ones on the front? I would write 1/3. Where did I get the 1/3? Well, that's the rest of the tickets, because 2/3 belong to the children. 1/3 of 66, or I could have written 1/3 times 66 equals 22 adult, oops, out of frame again, adult tickets. So, don't get scared off by this multiplication sign. It means the same thing as of. We're just switching it to an operation sign that we know. I hope this video helped you today, and if you have any questions, be prepared to come to class with them tomorrow to your teacher.